The pharaoh was more than a king. He was a living god, the embodiment of Horus, destined to maintain divine order on earth. This belief gave the pharaoh absolute authority. His word was law, his presence a bridge between mortals and the gods. Every decision, from planting crops to waging war, was seen as a sacred act. Only the pharaoh could enter the most sacred temple spaces, acting as high priest for all of Egypt. The nation's prosperity and survival were believed to rest on his ability to please the gods. If the Nile flooded or famine struck, it was seen as a reflection of the pharaoh's success or failure in his divine role. Elaborate coronation rituals transformed the mortal prince into a living god, publicly affirming his sacred status. To rebel against the pharaoh was not just treason, it was blasphemy, a threat to the cosmic order. Religion and politics were inseparable. The palace was both a seat of government and a sacred space. Priests and scribes filled the court, helping the pharaoh perform his religious duties. The entire state operated under the assumption that they served a divine master. Egyptian art and architecture, pyramids, temples, tombs, were designed to maintain cosmic order and ensure the pharaoh's eternal life. The pharaoh's divinity was the foundation of Egypt's stability and power. His rule was not just political but cosmic, a mandate from the gods themselves. Central to the pharaoh's role was upholding Ma'at, the principle of truth, justice, and cosmic order. Ma'at was the ideal state of the universe, always threatened by its opposite, chaos, or Isfet. The pharaoh's daily rituals were meant to maintain Ma'at and keep chaos at bay. Temple reliefs show the king offering Ma'at to the gods, symbolizing his success in preserving order. In return, the gods blessed Egypt with stability and prosperity. This was not a one-time act. The struggle against chaos was constant. The legal system and government were extensions of Ma'at, with judges acting as its priests. Building temples and leading armies were seen as acts of restoring balance and protecting Egypt from chaos. Every action of the pharaoh was framed as a sacred duty to preserve harmony. If disaster struck, it was seen as a failure of the king to uphold Ma'at, threatening his legitimacy. The pressure was immense. The fate of the world rested on his shoulders. Rituals were practical tools to fight chaos and ensure Egypt's survival. The pharaoh's cosmic responsibility shaped every aspect of Egyptian life. His success or failure was measured by the order or disorder in the land. The king's vigilance was the only barrier between Egypt and chaos. Public ceremonies were essential for reinforcing the pharaoh's divine power. Festivals like the Opet festival in Thebes were grand spectacles, with the pharaoh leading processions as the living son of the gods. These events allowed ordinary people to witness the king's connection to the divine, strengthening their loyalty. The state distributed food and drink, turning religious events into celebrations that bonded ruler and subjects. Temple walls depicted the king's victories and his closeness to the gods, serving as public propaganda. The architecture itself reinforced the pharaoh's legitimacy at every turn. Yet, these public displays were only the surface. The true power of the pharaoh lay in secret rituals performed away from public view. The crowds saw the processions, but not the hidden rites in the temple's inner sanctum. Public festivals were the visible tip of a much deeper, secretive religious practice. The real source of royal power was hidden in the shadows. Behind the public pageantry was a world of secret rituals and magical knowledge, accessible only to the pharaoh and his closest priests. The universe was believed to run on Heka, divine magic wielded by the gods, and on earth by the pharaoh. In the temple's holiest spaces, the king or his high priest performed daily rituals to sustain the gods and, by extension, the cosmos. The cult statue was treated as a living god, washed, clothed, and fed in magical ceremonies. Sacred texts, hidden in temple libraries, contained spells for healing, protection, and even magical warfare. The pharaoh and his priests used these incantations to bend reality, protect Egypt, and attack its enemies. Amulets like the Ankh and Eye of Horus were not just symbols. They were magical tools for protection. Curses were inscribed on figurines representing enemies, then smashed to destroy them through sympathetic magic. This was supernatural warfare, waged in secret to defend the realm. The king's mastery of magic was the ultimate state secret. It was this hidden power that truly set the pharaoh apart. The said festival was the most secretive royal ritual held to magically rejuvenate the aging pharaoh and reaffirm his divine power. After 30 years on the throne, the king performed symbolic acts like a ritual run to prove his vigor and renew his rule. The festival reenacted his coronation, ensuring the continued stability of Egypt. Only the elite witnessed these rites. Their full meaning was known to very few. Sacred texts like the pyramid texts, coffin texts, and Book of the Dead contained spells to guide the pharaoh through the afterlife. These texts were magical instruction manuals for immortality, reserved in their most powerful forms for the king. By controlling access to these texts, the royal house and priesthood maintained a monopoly on salvation. The knowledge within was a source of immense power. The pharaoh's afterlife was carefully engineered through secret ritual and sacred writing. Immortality, like kingship, was a privilege of the initiated. The pharaoh's journey to the afterlife was a secretive transformation, not just survival, but union with the gods. Mummification was a 70-day magical process, each step accompanied by spells and protective amulets. The opening of the mouth ceremony reanimated the king's spirit for the afterlife. The tomb was a resurrection machine, its walls inscribed with guides like the Amduat and Book of Gates. These texts mapped the sun god's nightly journey, helping the pharaoh overcome dangers and be reborn each dawn. Only the king had access to this secret pathway to divinity. The nation invested immense resources in the king's afterlife, believing his rebirth ensured Egypt's continued stability. The dead pharaoh became a god, watching over Egypt for eternity. These private rituals were a cosmic necessity, guaranteeing the eternal cycle of order. Akhenaten was Egypt's most radical religious revolutionary, declaring the sun disk Aten as the sole god and abolishing the old pantheon. He moved the capital to Amarna and made worship of Aten a royal family secret, excluding the traditional priesthood. Only Akhenaten and his queen could mediate with the Aten, making divine knowledge more exclusive than ever. Art from this era shows the royal family alone in communion with the sun god. This was both a spiritual and political power grab, redirecting temple wealth to the crown. The new religion was too secretive and alienating. After Akhenaten's death, the old gods and priesthood were restored. His name was erased, his city abandoned, and he was branded a heretic. Akhenaten's failure showed that pharaonic power depended on traditional secret rituals. His story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of breaking with sacred tradition. The pharaoh's blend of divine authority, spectacle, and secret magic still fascinates us today. We see their monuments but sense a deeper world of hidden rites and esoteric knowledge. These secrets were the engine of Egyptian civilization, shaping politics, religion, and daily life. Discoveries like Tutankhamun's tomb give us glimpses into this lost world, fueling myths of curses and magical power. Every new find brings us closer to understanding the God King's mysteries. The pharaoh's quest for control over chaos speaks to a timeless human desire. Their secrets endure because they echo our own fascination with the unknown and the hope for hidden power. The pharaohs are gone, but their mysteries remain eternally compelling.